The Great Alliance. The year was 2157. Earth had joined the Galactic Council 5 years ago. Captain James stood on the bridge of the human starship Victory, looking at the massive alien fleet beside them. The Council had 7 member races: the tall blue Vexians, the four-armed traders, the crystal-bodied gems, the telepathic minds, the warrior reds, the ancient greys, and humanity. The council chamber on Station Prime buzzed with activity. Representatives from all races gathered around. The holographic star map. The Shadow Empire's consumed territories appeared as black voids where stars once shined. 23 star systems had fallen in just 2 months. They consume everything, the Vexian commander said, his blue skin pulsing with concern. No race has survived their assault. Admiral Stone stepped forward. Then we make history. Together, we have the numbers and the will. The human leader's confidence sparked hope in the room. The traders calculated their supply routes. The minds began coordinating telepathic communication networks. The Reds sharpened their weapons with 4-armed efficiency. The preparation took 3 weeks. Human engineers worked alongside alien technicians, sharing knowledge freely. Captain James even formed a friendship with a young gem pilot named Crystal. She showed him how their ships could refract energy beams. He taught her about human creativity. Under pressure. "Your species is strange," Crystal told him one day. "You find hope in hopeless situations." James smiled. "We call it stubborn optimism. It's gotten us this far." The Allied fleet was magnificent. 500 ships from 7 races, united under one banner. Children on all worlds watched the broadcasts. This was the moment the galaxy stood as one. The Shadow Empire would learn that unity conquered all. *The betrayal. The battle began near Planet Echo, a dead world on the frontier. Shadow ships emerged from dark space like oil spreading across water. Their vessels were black, angular, and moved with unnatural coordination. 1,000 ships against 500 allies. "All units engage," Admiral Stone commanded. The Allied fleet surged forward. The first volleys of energy weapons lit up space like fireworks. For 10 minutes, the plan worked perfectly. Then everything changed. Captain James noticed it first. The Vexian ships were pulling back. "Victory to Vexian command. You're breaking formation." Silence. Then all alien communication channels shut down to human ships. James watched his tactical display in growing horror. The traders were retreating. The minds had stopped their telepathic support. The Reds turned their weapons toward empty space, creating a barrier between humans and the retreating alien fleet. Finally, a single message came through from the Vexian commander. "The Shadow Empire offered us a deal. They want only Earth, one world for the safety of hundreds. A council has voted. Humanity's the sacrifice. Forgive us." 30 human ships now faced the Shadow Armada alone. The Victory's bridge fell silent. Lieutenant Tom spoke first. "Sir, we should retreat." Admiral Stone's voice crackled over the fleet communication. "Negative. If we run, Earth burns. We make our stand here." He paused. "I won't lie to you. We're outnumbered 30-1. But we're human. We've beaten worse odds with sticks and stones. Today, we have starships. All units, prepare for the fight of our species." The crew of Victory felt the weight of betrayal, but also something fiercer: determination. If humanity would die today, they would make it the most expensive victory the Shadow Empire ever won. The human spirit, the Shadow Empire expected surrender. Their commander, a being of pure darkness given form, sent a transmission. "Your allies show wisdom. Accept your fate. We will make your end swift." Captain James looked at his crew. Fear existed in their eyes, but so did defiance. "Send this reply," he ordered. "Humans don't accept fate. We make it." The battle that followed became legend. Human ships didn't fight like the rigid formations of other races. They moved like wolves, scattered, unpredictable, deadly. When shadow ships pursued one human vessel, two others attacked from behind. Engineer Tom had an idea. "Captain, their ships are too advanced to fight head-on. But look at this, they're perfect." Two. Perfect, no variation in design. Meaning? James asked while dodging enemy fire. They mass-produce everything. Same strengths, same weaknesses. "We find one weakness. We found them all." Dr. Lisa joined in. "I've been scanning their energy signatures. Their shields pulse in a pattern. If we time our shots ... She adjusted the weapons to fire between pulses. The next shot penetrated, destroying a shadow vessel. Word spread through the human fleet. Kitchen staff turned food synthesizers into emergency battery packs. Navigation officers used gravitational slingshots around Echo's moon for surprise attacks. Even civilian miners who joined the fleet used their drilling lasers as weapons. The Shadow Commander watched in disbelief. His perfect armada was being bloodied by 30 primitive ships. Humans crashed damaged vessels into enemy formations, ejecting at the last second. They used debris fields as cover. They broadcast ancient Earth music, everything from classical to heavy metal, disrupting shadow communication frequencies. "What are these creatures?" the Shadow Commander asked his lieutenant. "They call themselves humans, Lord. They're not fighting by any known tactical doctrine." "Then how are they winning?" "They're not winning, Lord. They're just not losing as quickly as they should." Asterisk the impossible victory. After 12 hours of fighting, only 9 human ships remained functional. The Victory had lost half its crew, but they'd destroyed 300 shadow vessels, an impossible ratio. That defied all military logic. In the Victory's damaged laboratory, Professor White made a discovery. "Captain, I've analyzed the destroyed shadow ships. They're not individual vessels. They're all connected through a quantum network. One giant hive mind." James understood immediately. If we could disrupt that network, we'd need to get inside their command ship and upload a virus directly. It's at the center of their fleet, protected by hundreds of vessels. James made the hardest decision of his life. Plot a course. The crew understood. This was a one-way trip. Nobody protested. Tom began overloading the engines for maximum speed. Lisa prepared the virus. Even young Private Robert, barely 18, stood at his post without flinching. "All remaining ships," James broadcast, "create a distraction. We're going for their throat." The final assault was chaos. 8 human ships attacked from 8 directions, confusing the shadow defenses. The Victory, engines burning beyond safety limits, punched through the enemy formation. Shadow weapons tore through their hull. Deck by deck, the ship died, but they reached the command ship. With the last of their power, they transmitted the virus. Professor White's creation spread through the shadow network like wildfire. 1,000,000 years of perfect coordination shattered in seconds. Shadow ships began firing on each other, confused, lost without their hive mind. The remaining human vessels pressed the advantage. Within 6 hours, the unstoppable Shadow Empire fleet was in full retreat. They fled into dark space, their perfect unity broken forever. Asterisk. The New Order of the Galaxy watched in stunned silence. Humanity had done the impossible. 30 ships had broken the Shadow Empire. The races that betrayed them now faced a terrible question. What would the humans do next? 3 days after the battle, the Galactic Council called an emergency session. The 7 races gathered, but this time the human seats were empty. Then Admiral Stone entered alone, his uniform torn and blood-stained from the battle. The Vexian, Commander spoke first. Admiral, we wish to apologize. We offer tribute. Technology, resources, anything you demand. The traders nodded eagerly. Exclusive contracts. Your economy will thrive beyond imagination. The mines offered their greatest treasure. Access to our telepathic network. Your species could evolve beyond physical limitations. Stone listened to each offer. Then he spoke, his voice calm, but carrying the weight of humanity's dead. You made a choice. You decided one species was worth sacrificing for your safety. That's your right. We made a choice too. We chose to fight. We chose to win. And now we choose to leave. Leave? The Grey Elder was confused. B-U-T. You could rule the galaxy. You've earned it through conquest. Stone shook his head. We didn't fight for conquest. We fought for survival. Humanity withdraws from the Galactic Council, effective immediately. We'll patrol our borders. Don't cross them. The alien races expected revenge, but humanity gave them something else: indifference. Humans returned to their space, rebuilt their worlds, and grew stronger. But they didn't become conquerors or tyrants. When the swarm invaded Red territory, the warrior race that had betrayed humanity called for help. The Council refused to risk their ships. Then, unexpected, human vessels appeared. They fought the swarm and won, saving millions of Red civilians. When asked why, Captain James, now an admiral, simply said, because it was right. When plague struck trader colonies, human medical ships arrived with cures. When pirates raided gem mining operations, human patrols eliminated the threat. Each time, humans asked for nothing in return. Each time, they left immediately after helping. The galaxy slowly understood a profound truth. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their unexpected tactics or their refusal to surrender. It was their choice to remain good, even when the universe had been cruel. They'd been betrayed, abandoned, and left to die. They chose to become better. Not bitter. Years passed. New generations of alien children grew up hearing stories of the humans, the race that fought alone against impossible odds and won, then chose to protect the very races that betrayed them. Some called it foolish. Others called it noble. In human schools, children learned the real lesson of the echo battle. Strength isn't about being the most powerful. It's about choosing who you want to be when you have power. Humanity chose to be guardians, not conquerors. They chose to be healers, not punishers. The Shadow Empire never returned. Some say they feared human unpredictability. Others believed. They learned the same lesson as everyone else. Humans were dangerous, not because they could destroy you, but because they could forgive you. And forgiveness, real forgiveness, while holding the power to destroy, was the most terrifying weapon in the universe. Captain James, old now, often stood on the observation deck of the new Victory II. Young officers would ask him about the battle, about the betrayal, about the choice to help their betrayers. Sir, didn't you want revenge? A young ensign once asked. James smiled, the kind of smile that carried decades of wisdom. Revenge would have made us like them. We chose to be like us. That's why we won the real battle, not the one with ships and weapons, but the one for our soul. The galaxy had learned to fear many things, but nothing scared them more than humanity's goodness. Because a race that could be betrayed, outnumbered, and nearly destroyed, yet still choose mercy. That was a race that could never truly be defeated. And in the darkest corners of space, where evil things plotted against peaceful worlds, they whispered warnings to each other. Don't wake the humans. Not because they'll destroy you, but because they'll make you question everything you thought you knew about strength. Humanity stood alone, but they stood taller than ever. Not through conquest, but through choice. The choice to be human, even when being human was the hardest thing in the universe. Asterisk.